Hi guys, XYZ, and in this installment of the Good and the Bad, I'm going to talk about a classic game I used to play, which is Ehrgeiz, God Bless the Ring. Well, this is a fighting game that was published by, well, Squaresoft back then, but now we know it as Square Enix. And it was Square's attempt at a fighting game, I guess to somewhat compete to like the ones back then, like Tekken or Street Fighter. And this one was actually different. Comparing it to those games, those games, you're always fighting in a 2D plane, face to face. But this one, there guys, they actually allow you to fight in a full 360-degree motion, and the levels themselves actually have like different elevations, to kind of offer greater variety. But let's see what's good and bad about this. Well, in terms of good, there are some things that I think Ehrgeiz did pretty well. For one, the whole fighting mechanics are actually pretty decent. You have the typical high, mid, low attacks. You have rolling when you're on the ground. You have dodging. You have counter attacks. There are a lot of good things about that, and they pretty much took a page right out of typical fighting games, but enhanced it for a full 360-degree type gameplay. And also, you can actually more or less plan the moves that you want to do. Since you don't have to actually go head to head on opponents all the time, you can actually run around the entire area, to kind of give yourself some breather and kind of think out strategies. Second good thing I would say is the whole special meter that they added. Basically each character has special moves that they can perform, and I mean they're like a whole variety. But I mean, take for instance Ken Mishima. Has the whole gun arm. He's able to shoot off shots with his gun arm with a special. And what's unique is the characters also have the ability to charge up their specials. So that Ken Mishima can actually charge up his gun arm and actually fire 3 homing shots, to do more damage. And third, I know it's a little bit hypocritical, but you do have to like the whole addition of the Final Fantasy VII characters. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for those characters, I mean, this game would be just a pretty standard fighting game on its own that has no relevance to anything. Mostly it would probably been forgotten. But with the whole Final Fantasy VII characters, it does offer a good variety of characters, but also tries to, make it seem kind of more flashy. Well, in terms of bad, there are some things that are a little bit hard to overlook. For one, there is a little bit of a balancing issue with some of the characters. Like for instance, take Cloud and Zack. With the use of their Buster swords, using their special, they can pretty much almost dominate the game every time. And especially it's a pain when you're doing like a 1v1 match against you and your friend. I mean, you can pretty much win when you're like Cloud or Zack. So obviously there's some characters that are just more powerful than others. Second issue is even though you have kind of a variety of moves, for each character, the thing is you can pretty much get by with just one or two combos. If you keep repeatedly spamming them. I mean, even on harder difficulties, you can pretty much get through the game, with some ease, just by spamming a single combo over and over. And the third, I'd say, in my opinion, I didn't like the whole setup to the last level of the game. I mean, the game's pretty much straightforward from beginning up until you face Django, but then when you face Red Scorpion, that's when they throw a huge curveball, and it's like the whole setup has changed. You can't face them one on one. You have to go through and break the two glass crates to get the two swords, and then you have to throw them at Red Scorpion to ultimately kill him. Which it's a little bit easier said than done. And what makes it even harder is just the fact that you're on a very strict time limit because while the credits are playing, which is at the same time distracting, you roughly have about like 30 seconds before the credits are fully over, and it ends whether or not you even defeat him. And really, what's kind of more frustrating is the fact that the game doesn't tell you anything on how to defeat Red Scorpion, and there's no in-game context whatsoever. So, mostly your first playthrough, you're going to be so clueless as to what to even do, and kind of also confused as to why you can't even defeat Red Scorpion to begin with. And it wasn't until, in my experience, it wasn't until I found out on the internet how to really beat Red Scorpion. Uh, and so it's like a huge problem as to why they even bother making this type of match in to begin with. So I don't know. Just to me, it felt like there was a last minute addition that they needed to throw in something, before the game shipped out, and this just wasn't tested well enough. Well, for improvements, there are a couple of things that could have been done to make the game better. For one thing, they really need to have a way to have a greater variety of moves, to avoid spamming in general. And what my thought is, why not kind of combine it in a way towards the scoring system. At the end of each match, you actually get a score, and it's kind of meaningless in consoles. I mean, who really wants to compare scores at the end of the game, for a console? But I guess what they could really have done is maybe have like in-game rewards. If you get a certain score, that you can actually unlock new things, and and I guess maybe the whole variety of moves that you perform can get you more moves. And then maybe if you keep doing the same moves over and over, it just doesn't give you any more points. That's my thought about it. But second improvement they could do is with the whole issue of the red scorpion. Uh, I would honestly think it'd be better if they just kind of rework that to make it more just a standard one-on-one match, and not have the credits play. Have the credits play after the match is over, whether you win or lose. But just make it a standard match. Keep it consistent. It's been a standard fighting game. Why have this whole new setup for the last level? Or at the very least, give us some context on how to actually beat it. To avoid confusion. Well, overall, I say Ehrgeiz, God Bless the Ring was a pretty decent fighting game. I mean, it was an interesting attempt that Square did to make a fighting game. But, I mean, typically when you think of Square, you kind of think more of RPGs or Final Fantasies. You don't really think of fighting games. And I think they'd have been better off if they stuck to just, straight up RPGs. But for Ehrgeiz, it was a decent attempt. Maybe if they had taken more out of like traditional fighting games, kind of modeled those, I think Ehrgeiz would have been a better game. But I guess what we've got right now, it's not too bad. It's not good. It's not bad. It's kind of decent. So I would give it a final score of a 6 out of 10, and I would say at this point, give it a shot. If you can find it at a very cheap price. Actually, I'm sure you can. I managed to get my copy for like $5 on eBay. So it's not bad. It's a pretty good relic, and especially the whole edition of the Final Fantasy VII characters. For those who are a fan of the series anyway, I'd say it's pretty good look through. So give it a chance. This is Devil Hunter XYZ, and until next time.